3, 2, 1.
So that's right. That's what happened. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. You know, when we keep our attention focused on our relationship with and as divine intelligence throughout the day, I find at least, that my perspective and perceptions of life are filtered then through the lens of truth, of love, of oneness, of that power and presence, of that divine wisdom. And it gives me the resilience and the perseverance to meet whatever may come that day. And I feel called when I step into that, to a higher state of, not only higher state of consciousness, but a higher state of information flowing into me, a higher state that informs me of my next best steps, whether that's in thought, in feeling, or in action. But we gotta get ourselves in that flow of spirit every day, every morning, when we start our day, or every evening when we start a day, depending on what time you start your day. Because when we get ourselves in the flow of spirit, that's when we can give up striving, we can give up being fearful, we can give up being attached to the outcomes, because sometimes the outcomes aren't so fabulous. But sometimes the outcomes are really fabulous, and we can't grab hold of the success of them, because we have this lack and limitation thing going on. So we allow our success to scare us in a way, but not when we are connected to, not when we start our day knowing the source of all and remembering this is an energy. This is an energy we can tap into at any time. That's always available to work through as us, this divine perfection. We can tap into it any day, but if we start our day reminding ourselves of this powerful, pervasive, constructive, and loving and wise presence, we can begin working through the channels of that good, the good with a capital G, the power, the presence, the manifesting law. We can begin working through those channels, bringing the good into our lives of good ideas, of positive ideas, of constructive ideas and actions. We can look at any challenges or conditions that may come our way from anywhere, any circumstances, anything happening in the world even, whether it's positive or negative. We can look at them and know these conditions are not more powerful than the divine source that is within us. Nothing is more powerful. Those facts in our lives, they're not more powerful than the truth. That doesn't mean that we don't do something to make sure they're not in our personal lives, that we don't take care of the facts. We don't ignore the facts. We just don't allow them to rule our mind. We are each powerful creators, and when we constantly claim that power, when we start our day claiming that power, only good, only positive can really come to and from us. Now, sometimes that good is something wonderful and positive. Well, something wonderful and yes, positive. Because even if it's a lesson we need to learn, that leads us to something wonderful and positive. So even if something shows up in our day that doesn't seem so fabulous, we have the power to look at it, because we are vibrating at the speed of the divine. We have the power to look at it and go, wait a minute, I know my truth here. Yeah, this sucks. I need to take care of what's going on in this factual world, whether it's stepping aside or whether it's turning a knob, whether it's writing a letter, whatever it is, whether it's, going to the hospital to get my leg set, whatever shows up. we know that it's going to be taken care of because we know we live in the truth. And if it's something that we've forgotten to avoid in our lives, forgotten to not attract that fact in our lives, then we learn that lesson. That's a wonderful and positive thing. All this is about having a mindset. You'll hear that word, having a mindset or being in a state, through all kinds of philosophies and teachings, and NLP teaches that, et cetera, neuro-linguistic programming. It's a mindset we're getting into. It's not a religious thing, though it could be a religious thing if you want it to be. It's not even necessarily a spiritual thing in your life. If you're not a spiritual person, although if you're here, you probably are, though it really is a spiritual thing, but you don't have to call it that. Who cares what you call it? It's a mindset that you want to be in, of being the person who achieves not just by doing the doings, not just by doing things, not just by taking actions to achieve your goal, but about being the goal, being the goal. It's about authenticity and power, the authentic power that you have because you're vibrating at the speed of the divine. Using your talents, using your skills, using your knowledge. In other words, we are first to be the one. And then when we have become the one, when we be the one, then we can do what it takes to reach the goal, the day. You got to be before you do in order to have what you want. So the first question that we should ask ourselves each day, and some people have different lists, some people have that, these are the 5 questions you should ask yourself every morning, and those are great and those are fine. But the first question should always be, what do I need to be in order to accomplish the goal I have for today? What do I need to embody? Yes, what do I need to embody? This establishes your state of being. This establishes yourself, centers yourself in the idea of who and what you are. That's why I wake up each morning with my mind on spirit, the power and presence within me, the divine urge. I allow it to outflow its wisdom through me. The direct authority I am right now. I don't have to add a title. I don't have to get a new degree. I don't have to do this, that, or the other to be the authentic me. All I have to do is be the spirit that is within me. To share my talent, time, and treasure powerfully, boldly, meaningfully, and full-heartedly, whether it's for the rest of the day, of work, or it's a day of play or day of rest. It doesn't matter what the day is going to bring according to your goal. It matters that you start in spirit, that you remember who you are and reveal that and vibrate as that right from moment one when those eyes open. In the book, This Thing Called Life, Ernest Holmes says, we are the water of infinite life as the fish is in the ocean. The spirit of life is all around us. It flows through us. It permeates everything. So we start our day knowing I am being the channel and expression of the best me, here to deliver my gifts, my talents, my skills with confidence and inner authority, withholding nothing. Boom. Now, I want to answer the question, what do I need to do in order to accomplish this goal I have today? Now, it may not be a question I answer right after directly. I may go do my stuff, to wash my face and put my ablutions on and comb my this and that, get dressed, have breakfast or coffee or whatever. But eventually this second question needs to show up. What do I need to do in order to accomplish this goal that I have for today? Whether it's work, play, rest, whatever. Well, since I am the channel of the divine flow, I can dial up the talents required. I can dial up the allies that might be required. I can make sure I and or my team takes the path of least resistance mentally and physically to get to that goal. I can figure out the strategies. I can strategically choose the best course, whether it's getting further education, getting coaching, joining some accountability group, stepping back and regrouping. If I am feeling burnout or feeling stuck, figuring out ways to optimize my time. What do I need to do? Call this person, do that, do this. I can sit and think about that and figure it out. And where am I thinking that from? I am thinking that from the vibration of the divine wisdom that is within me, because I've already established that state of being. This due time is when we get clear on the right actions, the best strategies, and even develop the best behaviors if we have to, in order to have the goal, to have the have. Remember, the title of this talk is Be, Do, Then Have Right Now. So the have, it's time to take action. There were these, this is a great little story. There were these two seeds laying side by side in the fertile soil. And the first seed said, I want to grow. I want to send my roots deep into the soil beneath me and thrust my sprouts through the earth's crust above me. I want to unfurl my tender buds like banners to announce the arrival of spring. I want to feel the warmth of the sun on my face and the blessing of its morning dew on my petals. And so she grew. And she grew and she grew into this beautiful plant with beautiful flowers. Now, on the other hand, the second seed over here said, if I send my roots into the ground below, I don't know what I'll encounter in the dark. If I push my way through the hard soil above me, I may damage my delicate sprouts. What if I let my buds open and a snail tries to eat them? And if I were to open my blossoms, a small child may pull me up from the ground. No. It is much better for me to wait until it's safe. And so she waited. And she waited. And she waited. Then one day, a yard hen, scratching around in the early spring ground for food, saw the waiting seed and promptly ate it. So what's the moral of this story? Well, those who dream big and think from the truth of knowing who they are will grow and prosper. Those who think negatively, those who are in fear and lack and limitation, who don't begin their day knowing who and what they are, at least for that day and maybe for that life, because that could become a habit of waking up in that negative state of mind. They will risk getting swallowed up by life. They will risk not being bold and brave, not being the badass that they are. What would the best of you do? There's a question for you every morning. What would the best of you do? Now, that could be the ideas and actions of a mentor that you might take, but it'll be your version of it. There's nothing wrong with having mentors, whether you know them, whether they are personal coaches or not. But the idea is doing your version of it. But either way, from the book Change Your Thinking, listen to this. There is a center in you that already knows. Develop the consciousness that flows from this center, for it is the secret place of the Most High within you. So finally, with our minds on spirit, embodying the personal power of that within you, and as you in the process, the process thought through, whatever those strategies are that they're set up, there's clarity in those actions to take. It's time to have. It's time to have. It's time to have at it. It's time to lean into the flow, express your gifts, trust the process, listen to the voice of the vision that you have created. Answer the next calls if any shows up in your gut. If that intuition starts speaking through your gut, if the brain in your heart starts speaking, listen to that voice. Take those calls. But most importantly, enjoy the journey as well as the result. Trust yourself in the process and trust the divine in you for the guidance. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote in his essay, Heroism, self-trust is the essence of heroism. So I'm asking you, not only this week, but this entire month, well, for the rest of your life, but especially this entire month, I've been asking you to be heroic by embodying the power that is in you. What is the divine urge seeking to express through you today, tomorrow, the next day, the next tomorrow, the next decade? It is to be, do, then have that expression happen for you right now. That is what the divine is speaking right now through you as you express the greatest you, because the greatest you is the you that is divine. Do it right now. Join me in being the greatest you. I know you can. You got this, my friends. You got this. Be, do, then have. Right now. Thank you so much. Namaste.